Boom. What is that? Thursday? Happy Thursday, people. Talking around even with my mic is on. Hold on. Share right there. And come over here and share. And share over here. And right here. Sharing all the annoying places. So I can annoy people. It's good to annoy people. Sometimes you gotta annoy people. No, it's good to annoy psychopathic people who like killing people. Annoy those people. Please annoy them. So thank you for sharing. Appreciate it. Boom, boom, boom. I believe today's Thursday all day today. Is my mic on? Yeah, my mic is on. Let's see if Facebook comments will work today. I made some changes. Maybe this will work this time. Boom. See if that works. DJ would say boom and nothing happens, like boom and nothing happens. Boom, nothing happens. Talk about little balls today. Little balls, little balls. The Pentagon has little balls. Not just that they're cowards, because they are. They don't do their own fighting. Nope. They send children to do the fighting for them. Not that, just that. But the little balls, the Foo Fighters. War is in the air. So now they're saying we're gonna bomb Iran. What the hell is going on with this? I want to look at this. I didn't pay too much attention to it, but I saw it this morning, so I'm gonna go look at that. We have to pause and watch the fake news when necessary, because they fake about a lot of things. They lie about my password. Heck, nabbit. Oh, now I know what I'm doing. I'm doing something wrong. Nope, no Facebook comments. Oh, that sucks. There's some buttons here. Let me at least get the YouTube in. Alright, now. Make sure I put in the right. Be the upgrade. Be the upgrade. Be the upgrade. Be the upgrade. Look back at the past. See the little balls of World War II. Understand what the Foo Fighters actually are. And proceed in life forward as though you know that these things are real. And the Air Force, the RAF, I believe even the German fighters talked about Foo Fighters. I think some of them were German, some of them were not. Nah, look at that. The comments still ain't coming in. Now, wait a minute. This is fake news. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. Let me see if I can find that. So sick of not having my comment chat box. Hey, now, I just changed that. We should see that. Color is a text viewer, we're doing text size. No, as far as I can tell, Facebook comments should be coming in. I'm not seeing them. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what's going on. Don't know. So I guess we're gonna go another day. Let me see. It says connected. I'm just not seeing. Let me see. We might have your permission to access some of your pages and ideas. Okay. We may not. How come you may not have access? Let's try that again. All right. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. How's everybody doing this morning? What y'all think about the war? Good idea, bad idea. Is violence a good idea, bad idea? Smart idea, stupid idea? I was thinking about the guy who stole that gas the other night. Did y'all see that? The guy who stole the gas? And that led me to an interesting thought process. Can someone actually steal gas in a nation that's stolen by people who stole the gas from another nation they stole and bombed and murdered and killed people, put it on ships that they probably stole and sent here? You can't steal gas in America. You literally can't steal anything. Not in America. There's no such thing. It's only stealing if it's poor people doing it. When it's the wealthy doing it, it's not stealing. Exxon, every last drop of gas they got is stolen. It's stolen. All right, they're messing with it. I can't do anything with it. I thought that might have fixed it. All right. Every drop of gas in the United States is stolen. Why? Because this little ball right here, this little Pentagon ball. I got little balls right there. And Russia got little balls too. It's not just the Rothpentagon. It's also the Roth, what do they call over there? what's the military of defense, Roth military of defense, because they got a Rothschild bank too. Focus on the balls. Focus on the balls. Everybody look at the ball. World War II, and they brought all them scientists over here to teach the Pentagon, the Rothpentagon, how to make balls too. Because all they did is a Rothschild, after they funded the Germans and funded the United States, they just put all the funding over to the United States and they just owned all this crap over here. It's not your Pentagon, it's not your war. It's nothing to do with you, it's not for you, you're not going to benefit from it. It is sending children to go do fighting for grown men who are too much of a coward to actually go do fighting for themselves because they don't actually believe in the wars. Think Pompeo's going to pick up a sword, that fat bastard? Hell no. I love him though, he's my cousin. It's just some people, as the Bible says, some people you gotta love them. You ain't gotta like them, but you gotta love them. And that man is a psychopathic. Like, y'all need to put my cousin in a pen somewhere. All right, put a comment up over here on Facebook. Oh man, that just sucks. That just drives me. Why can't things work the way they're supposed to? That's just annoying. How's everybody doing? Kremlin. Yeah, the Roth Kremlin. The Roth Kremlin. The Rothlim, something like that. It's all Rothschild owned, big banks, whoever prints the money, they make all the decisions. But I'm sure the Russians believe that the Russian government is in control over there. Putin is making the decisions. I don't know, I think he probably makes some decisions, like U.S. presidents on occasion, but not many. Not many. Not enough to get upset about. Not enough to be like out here with these people flipping out. The president is doing something. Putin is doing something. It's all fake news. It is all a narrative. It's all to get you stupid. All right, so that's it. They done blew the comments out. I don't know what to say about it, people. I don't know what to say about it. I think there's one more thing I can try, but I won't try today. I'll try another day. And in the meantime, they blow out YouTube also. Man, y'all don't even care. They don't even care anymore. They're just like, you know what? We done with this. We are done with this. I told you it's coming to an end, people. It's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. They have no interest in dissenting voices anywhere. Wait a minute. Let me see if I can try something else. Hold on. Over here. It's dark, I can't say anything, it's dark. All right, never mind, that didn't work. That didn't work either. All right, that's it. Let me bring YouTube up over here. I'll just have to read the comments. I like having them on the screen. Y'all gotta look at my ugly mug, but this is just, no, there we go. Nikki! Nikki, okay, YouTube comments is working. All right, there we go. Thank you, Nikki. How's everybody doing this morning? Run for the hills, the sky is falling. Stacy, I think the sky done fell. I think it's too late. It's too late. That ship done sailed. It's like all that stolen gas we have in America. That ship done sailed a long time ago. The sky has fallen. More false flag? BS. It is false flag, Stacy. It is 100% all false flag. Bay of Tonkin again. Iran didn't attack any damn thing. But you got a lot of stupid people that don't get behind it. Man. A lot of people killed. What a stupid thing to say that you love Pompeo. What? He and Bolton are the biggest psychopaths in the White House. Well, honestly, that's a spiritual thing, girl. I understand. It's not stupid for me. I know it's stupid for you. I get that. It makes sense. It just makes no sense. It makes sense to me. I understand and I accept that if I was born Pompeo, I would be a psychopathic, murdery bastard looking to murder children, blowing up nations, dropping bombs on poor people, old people, women, and sex trafficking, pedophilia, and all that crap that comes out of war. I'd be the same dude he is. I would be. And we're all connected. We're all one anyway. So I get that a lot of people don't understand it when I say that. I'm a spiritual cat. I love everybody. Doesn't mean that I like them. Doesn't mean I like what they do. It means I accept that the problem with the world is we have a model that puts Pompeos in power. We have a model in the world that, for some reason, gets people to think it's a good idea for psychopaths to make decisions for the world. So yeah, no, I love the brother. The brother, he's a cousin. He's a cousin. That's what I'm saying. I don't do teams all over this planet. Good morning, everybody. Please talk about the BC standoff over pipeline. That stuff's gonna heat up. You know what, Dee? I don't know what's happening over there. I didn't see anything in the news talking about it. They were talking about a bunch of other stuff. But the bottom line on the pipeline is simply this. The gas is stolen. It's stolen from Canada, stolen in the United States. It's stolen from Native Americans. It's stolen and it's shipped over stolen land to go to gas stations and refineries that were built on stolen minerals to create this gas stuff. And they put it in tanks at gas stations on land that was stolen once again so we can buy it. That's what I'm gonna say about that. That's what I'm saying. So there is no eminent domain for thieves, if you ask me. There is no respect that I pay to thieves. They're psychopathic killers. That's why they have a police state, to make sure we listen to the murderers, killers, and thieves. It's all stolen, all of it. Every last drop of it. Been listening while on the road. Okay, Gloria, listen while on the road and pay attention to the road. In the air. All right. Good morning. Let's look at the news real quick. I guess the only other thing I'd say about BCDD is they don't care. And we just really need to think about that, I think, as a land. We're not a country. A country it belongs to the Rothschilds. We aren't a country, we're a land. We're a land full of captive people. And as a land, we need to think about that, right? Like this whole thing, I love my country. Even on RT, they were saying this morning, how much they love their country. I don't. The country is not mine. It's not yours. It has nothing to do with us. I love my land. I love my neighbors and my neighbors' neighbors and my neighbors' neighbors' neighbors. And anyone who would take dogs and gas and assault rifles and to put pipelines over their land that infect their water, that they gotta drink and the cattle gotta drink and the bacteria has to drink and the birds and the bees and the buffaloes and everything over their needs. These people are nuts. This is why I'm saying it's a stand down, Didi. We have to stand down. Everybody just has to walk away. But you gotta search a soul for that. People have to search their own souls if they wanna actually continue with this predatory psychopathic system. All right, where are we at? I want to go to, who's this brother from Ron Paul?
In the early 2000s, I was a young correspondent and a news presenter at NBC in New York. It was working, well, my very first network assignment and job when suddenly the Bush administration began lying us into a war with Iraq. I kind of knew it was a lie right away. But at the time, Fox News was our major competitor, and between them and, talk show guys like Rush Limbaugh, everyone was afraid of questioning the war for fear of being called unpatriotic. Already under the Fox barrage of un-American accusations, NBC corporate, the guys in the suits and the white shirts, they were already feeling the heat, and they redirected that heat over to us. The journalists, the writers, the preparers of this stuff. It was a pretty simple message that they seemed to be sending down to us. If you want to keep your job here at NBC, you kind of got to be pro-war. I could have said at the time that I was young and stupid, but I wasn't. I should have known better. I should have pushed back. I should have told the truth, even if it meant that I lost my job, which I eventually did anyway. I say this because I want you to know that unlike our competitors here on this newscast, we're not going to let that happen again. I'm determined. We're committed as journalists and as Americans to call our country out if they try to lie us into another war. Joining.
Is it okay when your country lies you into a war? Is it okay if your leader lies you into a war? Is it okay if your side is the psychopathic killer? Is it okay? And that's the biggest problem we have right now is it is okay for a lot of people. It is perfectly okay. I appreciate Sanchez though. I don't agree with the whole country narrative. I think he has to do that or people won't listen. I appreciate him. Because he seems like he is trying to stand in the cut. He's one of the few who's saying he's not going to let it happen again on his watch. My question to you is, what you going to let happen on your watch? Who do you give a damn about and who do you not give two damns about? Are you going to let them go kill a bunch of people again for oil that they want to steal so they can sell to you?
Joining us now is Daniel McAdams. He's with the Ron Paul Liberty Institute. This is really fascinating. I mean, this is what all the reports are reading now. The reporting, as we mentioned, which I think started with the Jerusalem Post. The United States plans to carry out a tactical assault on Iran in response to the tanker incident. The bombing is going to be massive, but is going to be limited to a specific target. Daniel, what do you make of this?
Well, the origin of that article is from an Israeli paper, a Hebrew language paper, and it does make you wonder because they cite unnamed UN sources. We don't know who that could be. That could be someone within the Trump administration trying to leak it, trying to get it out there. Whatever the case, we do know that the military has been planning. We do know that the neocons really sense their greatest opportunity, probably in 2 decades, to hit Iran, which is something they dream about every day. So I would tend to lead to some credibility.
They're using as their raison for this attack the so-called attacks that they blame on Iran on those tankers in the Gulf of Oman. But as you and I know, those reports, or at least the evidence that's been provided, seems, at least to this newscaster anyway, sketchy at best.
Well, not even to that newscaster, I would say also to our close allies, Japan and Germany. And Japan was there. If anyone would have a beef about one of their boats getting hit, they would have a beef about it. And they both said, we need more evidence, as has other people. So the evidence that they presented, in fact, if you look at the color photo they sent, actually a ship captain of mine said, this looks like a rescue operation. These guys are in life vest. They're being rescued from that ship, not taking a mine off the ship.
Literally.
In any case, if you look at it, it doesn't look like a covert op when you got 15 guys mingling around on the top of a ship. So very suspicious to me.
Yeah, you know, that's an interesting point that you make, because Iran was actually part of the rescue operation that was lifting the sailors that had been thrown overboard and getting them out of the waters. So Iran is saying, yeah, what you have is a picture of our rescue operation. And why in the world would we have guys doing something like that, wearing orange jumpsuits, of all things, trying to draw as much attention as they possibly can? To your point, right?
Well, it's pretty transparent, but unfortunately, Rick, as you know, the mainstream media in the U.S. has a way of amplifying this, being a lapdog to the neocons in the administration and elsewhere. So they're making it up, look at like the Iranians hit New York or something. So anyone who stopped and thought about this does not look like a covert operation to me.
Yeah, and there's nothing un-American or unpatriotic about what we're doing right now. I mean, look, I love my country. I want my country to make the right decisions. That's why it's my job as a journalist to question just about everything they say, especially given that their track record is not that good.
Exactly. We do know what happens when we listen to them lying. And in fact, every patriotic American should be concerned about another $4 to $8 trillion wasted, 5,000 American lives being killed, and countless thousands killed overseas. That's patriotism, questioning some people, factions in your government, when they want to do something that's wrong.
One guy I've been wanting to question a lot lately is Pompeo. I mean, this is interesting, and I was listening to you with Dr. Paul during the Liberty Report on my way home last night, and you said something really interesting, that this trip that he just made to Tampa to meet with commanders at CENTCOM, you have some questions both with the intent and the planning of that, based in part with the fact that he's the Secretary of State. What's he doing meeting with commanders, you asked, right? Extrapolate that out for our viewers.
I think it's extraordinarily dangerous. He has no constitutional authority to be meeting with military commanders. I think what's happening is that you're having, certainly at the top of the Pentagon, there's a huge transition. You had a weak acting Secretary of State in Shanahan. You have a current acting Secretary, of Defense, a current acting Secretary of Defense that's just been named. These people have not taken command of the Pentagon, and so Pompeo is jumping in and filling the void, as the neocons do. He's pretending as if he's the Secretary of Defense. It's an extraordinarily dangerous thing, because you need to have your top military officers having someone who represents them at cabinet meetings to the president, offering the military perspective on the kinds of strike that they want. And we don't have that right now.
Yeah, he's out of...
Well, see, now this is true. It's true that, oh, I'm too tiny. It's true that you need to have that if the titles actually mean something. right? If your government works the way that they said it did in civics class, then that makes sense, right? Because the Secretary of State would be responsible for that, not Pompeo. However, I submit to you the world doesn't work that way. I submit to you that your government doesn't work that way. I submit to you that somebody else is telling your government precisely what to do, who they will murder, who they will invade, who they will loot, and that they will send their young troops to go do it, who pledge an oath to the Constitution and the people of the country. And it makes perfectly good sense to me, whether it's Pompeo or Bolton, McCain, or any of these psychopaths who come up with these ideas and wars that Americans have no interest in, right? Because we're not actually in control of this country, and you still have the majority of people acting like they are. And as long as you act like and you believe all of this, then yeah, they're gonna do that. They're gonna murder a whole bunch of people. This is why I say focus on the fact, hang on, let me get rid of this. Never forget the fact that the Pentagon got little balls. Little balls right there, little balls. Pompeo ain't gonna go do a damn thing. He ain't gonna do a damn thing. None of the people with the pens gonna go do a damn thing. They're gonna sit right back and let little kids go do the fighting. Because they don't give no damns about the fighting or the kids or probably or the oil. Because the oil ain't for them. They ain't getting no oil. They don't get. That's all these psychopathic nuts want. They want a retirement post-collapse America, post-currency collapse. So whatever they get promised is worth sending all these troops off to fight. You want to support the troops, then you need to be speaking against the people who are actually commanding the troops, because those people are all bought and paid for by big banks and corporations, whoever's getting whatever. I mean, which American wars actually were what they ever said they were? Which American wars actually we did not get lied into? I'm looking for all these wars. None of those wars exist. Every single war that we've gone into, they've lied the American people into. They gotten a bunch of people killed. They killed a bunch of people. They didn't take care of the troops when they got home. And none of the spoils of war helped Americans at all. Not that that's a good idea that you want some shiny stuff for war. But the fact is this, is they got shiny, they got the balls. Not just little balls, but they got these balls. They actually don't have to go there. If I didn't mention it before, I had a conversation with it. He wasn't a young man at the time. He was an older man from the Pentagon. Somebody my father brought home. The guy said there are two realities. He was some sort of a savant. He said there are two realities. The reality that we put on TV and the reality that the citizens really aren't allowed to know. We don't actually have to go fight wars. We haven't had to go fight wars for a long time. We have the technology to take out anybody and anything we choose whenever we choose. And I think the Russians do too. Because I think after World War II, they rushed in. The reason they didn't give two damns about Hitler and they ran right in to get the flying balls. See, some of them balls were lights and the other balls were just balls. The way my mind works, that's Hitler. He was working on whatever the Die Glocke, the bell, whatever it is, flying, anti-gravity, Nikola Tesla, whatever, because when Tesla died, Germany, they were responsible for taking some of his notes to, Germany, right? Germany. I think that was right. Right. And so they've got this anti-gravity stuff that they've been testing for the longest time. And so America and Russia, they saw it. The fighters told them, the Air Force pilots. And so when they went in there after World War II, it was like, hey, Germany's collapsing. We don't give two damns about that little short dude with that little mustache. Ignore him. He's like third priority. First priority is get the technology, get the war technology, get whatever we see flying around out there. And to me, I think it was German technology. They got the balls. We don't have to go over there. Besides the fact that narrative that we need to go blow up something for oil. You know, outside of the anti-gravity point, war is a lie. It's always been a lie. It is completely, utterly fantasy that we have to fight and kill each other for fossil fuels. It's the stupidest thing ever going. All right, let me go back to it. And I don't want to spend time on this because it's just, you know, like what did somebody said, it makes you hopeless or something. Who was that, Lori? It shouldn't make you hopeless. It should not make you hopeless because the thing is, we were never having these conversations before. Like as growing up a kid, you know, when we were going into war before, the Gulf War and Desert Storm, and everyone was cheering. Everybody was cheering. After 9/11, everybody was cheering. I don't see that now. So something's different. And that alone, Lori, should give you hope. Right alone, that there should tell us that something is different. human beings perhaps are starting to wake up. They might be starting to find remnants of a soul. Perhaps they might actually start giving a damn about the things that's in their religions. Maybe they're starting to give a damn about natural, or maybe they're starting to realize that they're always being lied to and they're sick of getting played. Maybe that's what it is. But now there is an anti-war voice. I dedicate a lot of that to Assange, helping people to realize that all of this is always a lie, but also the internet. So I think there's a whole lot of hope. There's a whole lot of hope. Now, do I think we're going to go over there and bomb them? Most likely. I don't think enough Americans will wake up fast enough, but at least we're talking. Right? At least we're talking. And you got to look for those little hope nuggets wherever you can find them. We're going to be bombarded, pun intended, with let's go to war rhetoric. Well, that's what they're going to do, Tina, but I don't know that I even believe what I see on TV, Tina, because I don't know any pro-war people in real life. Like, I know one or two fools. I mean, total fools. I love them too, but they're just nut job neoliberals as bad as the neocons. Pro-war, thinking the world works that way because they don't pay attention, they don't do their research. But for the most part, the vast majority of people I meet, they want nothing to do with war. But you know, the TV, the power of it, they can make it seem like most people want it. And most people are talking like they can normalize it. And this is the danger of programming in television, is they'll normalize it. And you'll think that most people are for it. And you're like, okay, well, this is what we don't. So yeah, I think it's gonna happen, but more people are speaking out against the rhetoric. Any guesses? It's the Saudis. Tina, you know what? For me, I always let's go back to the root cause. And the root cause is I'm not so concerned with the players and the actors as the men behind the curtain that pulled the strings, right? The men who are stealing the oil, the men who own countries. You know, and the Saudis, they're just a player on the board. I'm not worried so much about the players. It's the board game that we need to collapse. When a country goes to war, patriotism is born. It is, Nora, by foolish, stupid, ignorant, lost, moronic people who just, I bet, can barely read and write, barely process a thought, because they go off and they start cheering patriotism like it has anything to do with them. That's nothing to do with them. That's how the slave mind works, and that's the beauty of owning a nation of slaves, is you can get them to cheer for whatever king, lord, queen that you want. You know, most people are gaslit, but then again, they got the fluoride in the water and the chlorine and chemtrails, and people's brains aren't working right. So it's not surprising. But you know, the thing is I don't let it roll past me, Nora. Anytime I've run into somebody pro-war, which is almost never, in patriotism, I ask them, well, who does that flag stand for? Well, this flag stands for the United States. I say, oh yeah? Do you know who owns the United States? What are you talking about? Do you know what happened in 1913, 1933? Do you have any idea who actually gives your United States of America allowance like a mama? It's called the Rothschilds. You are literally cheering a crest for the Rothschild family. You're a fool. Don't be that gullible. Do not be that naive, but you're right. That's what happens. And this is why identity is so dangerous. This is why biological and birth identity is stupid, because it gets this tribal type thing, right? They start showing you images of American troops being shot or captured by Iran. And if you associate with this thing and this flag, you've been saying America the beautiful, Rothschild, the Pledge of Rothschild allegiance thing your whole life, you just jump right in and you want to support it. You know, you got family and friends that are over in the fight and you join that side. This is why I don't do sides anymore. This is why I'm done with it. I'm completely done with the identities. I'm done with the biological and birth identities because they make me act stupid, right? Because I associate myself with something that has nothing to do with myself. Not now, and that's awesome. Angela, I'm not sure what we're talking about. What's awesome? True, we have our peace gang. Lord, there are peace gangs all over. There is a growing anti-war voice. People are tired. People are sick and tired. Lots of pro-war people I see in the Southeast, most military. Well, right, Cheryl, but you know, when I see them in the military, I talk to them. I talked to them. I came from a military family. I talked to them. We got people we lost in the military. We lost being lied to. I think the only thing you can do with people in the military is you can talk to them. But the reality is this, is that as long as you got a starved population, you're going to have people in the military. They're going to do their job just how bankers are going to do their job, just how accountants are going to do their job, like lawyers are going to do their job, like police are going to do their job. When you have a whole nation that's secured and locked into money requiring it, everybody's going to do their job. And most people in the military, I know, they're not stupid. They're not stupid. They know. But they got college to pay for. They got kids. And it's like, am I going to starve my children for an anti-war ideology and I can't get a job anywhere else? No, they're not. They're not going to. They're going to go fight. And to a degree, I don't think that's stupid. I think that, you know, if you were born into an impoverished situation, you're going to do what you have to survive. That's logic, you know. So, but I also think a lot of that patriotism that some of the military carries, it's so they can do their job and sleep at night. Same way Americans do. Same way they think trying to save for their bank account isn't starving kids all around this world and in their country. Good morning, M. John. Let me see, the Christians. What? I know the Christians I know hate Muslims as terrorists. Of course, they hated Indians before terrorists. Lori, I got a little secret for you. Let me say a secret. If they hate people, Lori, they're not Christian. Okay? Literally, let me tell you something. If they hate people, there is no Christ in them anywhere. Anywhere, not even in the tip of their little toe. Christ done a lot for hate. No hate at all. You can be Christian all you want. You can put the labels and have the suits. You can grow your hair out like the fake Jesus they got in that picture. You can do whatever you want to do. Go to church on Sunday. You can carry your Bible around. You can do, but people who actually read those scriptures, people who actually know what Christ is about, they'll let you know these people ain't Christian more than the man in the moon. These people are satanic. If you hate Muslims, Christ does not like you. Christ loves you, but don't consider yourself brethren with him, because those people don't speak for Christ at all. Those people speak for themselves. They speak for Satan. You can't serve two masters. If you serve hate, you're serving Satan. Bottom line. So don't ever be confused by that. Don't ever let that confuse you. You know, we need a new name. When people with that name Christian, that's got nothing to do with Christ. They ain't got nothing to do with Christ. That's people that's trying to fool you into thinking it does. Christ is laid back, don't hurt anybody, don't touch anybody, love everybody, give them the shirt off your back. And when the Iranians come to kill you, you lay down and let them kill you. That's Christ. Now show me a Christian. Show me one. Show me one that's doing what Jesus would do. Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't play. I don't play around with that stuff. You either worshiping Satan or you're not, or you don't believe. But yeah, don't believe none of that. The hate factory. That's what it is, Lord. It's a hate factory. It's got nothing to do with anything having to do with anything close to Jesus. Not even close. They are complete in opposition. And that's part of why I'm loosely affiliated now, because these people are fighting Christ. These people are fighting everything that Bible stands for. They burning that Bible up while they're holding it, trying to convince people they love it. They hate it. But then again, there's a difference between worshiping a book written by a king and worshiping who you call the Son of God. Very different. Very different. That's why I'm a critic of all of that. All right, I'm going to get into something else. Let me see. And Big Pharma, yes, M. John, that's another complex. Talking reparations when all they did was move the slaves into corporate prisons. That's all they did, Patricia, but they did one other thing too. They did another thing. They got rid of that whole just Africans can be slaves. Now everybody can be. They opened up slavery to everybody. That's why they're locking everybody up and shooting everybody in the street. They never ended slavery. They just opened it up to the world. Ex-military, I know, are anti-government. Let me see, but pro-military war. Well, Cheryl, you know what I find out? To me, most people who leave the military, most of them who serve, they go serve and they come back and they get it. Like I know people who are completely, I can't have nothing to do with it. I'm out it. I'm not taking that bonus. I'm getting the hell out of here. Y'all are nuts and crazy. The wars are all a lie. It's not what they're about. With shooting old ladies and kids and blowing up. I don't have nothing to do with it. And there are others who come back and they don't have that choice, right? They don't have that option. They don't have that privilege to get out of the military. And I'll tell you quietly, I'm not going to say it out loud, you know, because there's still, like I said, that's that psychological thing. There's a psychological thing that they can't really do what their job tells them they got to do. That's why I say it's a whole stand down that we need. It's a whole stand down that we need. All right, let's move on to something else. I found something else kind of interesting outside of war. So I'm not gonna. Well, let me see. Was there anything else in here? They said, well, let's hear Pompeo lie real quick, in case anybody forgot what they said. The human being has a slightly shorter memory than a goldfish. In case they forgot what Pompeo said.
Out of his jurisdiction, right? And yet he's bigfooting a decision that's not really his, based on the fact that there's a vacuum there. Now, you also have done some reporting, Dan, on what's going on with the military and what they think of this whole strike planning and probability. What's your reporting on that?
Well, there's certainly a lot of concerns, and what we were hearing from some of our people initially after the attack on the tankers is CENTCOM doesn't believe this was Iran. For what it's worth, my sources are telling me, certainly the military is concerned because they know what it's like when they're being told something's a cakewalk and they go in and lose thousands of lives. But Pompeo just doesn't care. He went to Congress last week and said, look, we have the authority under the 9/11 authorization, so don't even bother, don't even worry about it. We'll do it if we want.
All right, let me explain something here too. So it could be a cakewalk. They don't want it to be a cakewalk. And this is why I'm saying the Rothpentagon, they don't have two dams. They don't care nothing about the troops because they're not going to send the troops over to make it a cakewalk. They're going to give them just enough weapons to make it look tough. Right? That's like when Bush sent them over and they had like rayon fabric for armor on the side of the Humvees. They're not going to send them with the top technology. They're not going to send them with the little balls. They're not going to send them with what they have. They're going to send them to make a TV war, which is going to get a lot of people murdered. That's what I'm saying. If you want to support your troops, you are completely anti to the United States Corporation of Rothschild. You are completely anti. You are for things like a new constitutional convention, suspending the federal government and putting in a real federal government, taking out the corporation and putting in something that actually is run by the people, for the people, decided by the people. That's what you're for, you know. But if you want to support the troops, you listen to the troops. You don't listen to the TV. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But Pompeo doesn't care. These guys don't care. This is a job. They're doing a job, and it's not for the American people. It's for the big banks and big corporations that will retire them. I don't know why we got to say this to people, but we do, because memory of a goldfish. Now, let's listen to Pompeo lie a little bit.
This is amazing. Think about what you're postulating with some of the reporting that you've done, that these guys, Bolton and Pompeo, and their ilk, are essentially circumventing our military commanders and making decisions in their own right. And they have behind them, of all things, the wit and wisdom and support of all the Rachel Maddows at MSNBC and the Cuomos at CNN, and obviously our friends over at Fox News, who will do anything to go along with these neocons, always have. This is kind of an interesting situation, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, and it's exactly what they did in the run-up to the Iraq War. If you remember the Office of Special Plans within the Pentagon, the neocons in the Bush administration didn't like the Pentagon reporting people that actually knew something about intelligence, so they filled this whole Office of Special Plans with their own hand-picked people and stovepiped intelligence up that said what they wanted. They're doing the exact same thing now, and the media, again, as you point out, is complicit, with some exceptions.
Stovepiping. Great usage, as one of my professors in college used to write on my reports. WC, correct word choice, Mr. Sanchez. Correct word choice, Mr. McAdams. Well done. Important conversation. I hope all of America's listening to this, because it really is something we all ought to be paying attention to. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it.
It's a lie. It's always a lie. It's a narrative that they play because there's two different civilizations. It's us, the poor people, and it's the very, very wealthy that use the highest of technology for various things. Speaking of that, they're releasing a little bit more technology today. Let's move on a little bit. Well, they're not releasing it, but they're indicating what they've had for the longest time. Where is this at? Right here. Check this out.
It seems like Hollywood and maybe a few others, possibly even in the newsroom, are on a mission to find the fountain of youth. Our RT correspondent Natasha Sweet has more on a promising study that scientists say may have brought us one step closer to finding it.
Well,
Clarify, there's no fountain of youth. Never is, never will be. Okay? We die because something was turned off in our DNA. We already know that. We die because the telomeres on the ends of your DNA break down, and the telomerase enzyme that's in your body till you're 90, 120 is actually shut off. Human beings die because their lifespan was limited to 120 years. Done with that. That's what I believe. It's what I believe. Based on all my research, one of our biggest problems, though, is we don't separate fact from what we believe. It's what I believe, and it's what makes sense to me. So there's no fountain of youth. It's just that those things were shut off, and our elites that have all of this eugenics and Nazi and fountain of youth and what is that? The daggone chalice that Christ drank from and all of that. They've been researching, studying that. They got thought, bringing people back to life. They got in the Bible that happened. They've been researching all of that stuff, keeping it from everybody for over 1,000 years. So do I think they live forever? Hell yeah, I think they live forever. And why do I think they do have the ability to do that? It's because they released this crap to us on the news like, oh, we might have just figured it out. Hillary Clinton, probably 400 years old.
There is wisdom in aging. Many of us can admit we could do without the physical effects like wrinkles, less energy, and of course, gray hairs. But now researchers uncovered a huge breakthrough that may slow down the aging process. Researchers out of the Washington School of Medicine conducted a study looking to see how older mice reacted to a specific protein found in the blood of younger mice. The results were promising. This blood enzyme supplement given to older mice delayed aging and prolonged lifespans up to 16%. The mice given the protein also had less vision loss, weight gain, mobility issues, or cognitive deficiencies. They also had shinier fur, more active wheel-running behaviors, improved insulin production, and better sleep patterns. Just published in the journal Cell Metabolism, researchers explain it's the protein enamped, the body's ability to produce fuel known as NAD, is the key to age prevention. The brain's hypothalamus is affiliated with being as the control center for aging, but scientists say it needs enamped to work properly.
Control center for aging. Control C-O-N-T-R-O-L, and I think I spelled that right. Control center. Your age is literally controlled. Your aging is literally controlled. But anyone else recognizing this? Anybody recognizing this report that they did it again? Remember the first time they did it when they took the old mouse and hooked it up to the young mouse, and the old mouse got young again, grew brown hair, became fertile again, started running around, started screwing everything it could. They just played with us. They played with it. They rediscover, but they never release anything. Because it's not for you. They need you to die. They need you to die before the age of 120. They can't have you living to 200 because somewhere around 50, 60, 70, too many of us start to question the bull shizzle we've seen our entire lives. So they need the poor people to die. And that's just, I don't think that's conspiracy theory. I think the kings have always been up to that, and the lords and our gods. Our Lord God Savior, Rothschild, King Henry, King Eric, King Obama, King Bush, and those aren't kings, those are like lower lords. But we're always worshiping these people who would never share any of that technology with us. But I think this is kind of funny because they're just rediscovering it again.
The study also revealed female mice consistently showed higher levels of the anti-aging enzyme compared to the males. Now, a molecule produced by the protein enamped is currently being tested in humans. If successful, you may see products created to maintain NAD levels in a store near you. In Los Angeles, Natasha Sweet.
Store near you. So everybody, work harder, because you know what that means in a store near you, in a CVS near you. It'll be on a shelf, you know, the shelves that they have behind the register. The shelf behind the register, and I'm kind of making this up a little bit because I don't even buy drugs. I haven't been in the drug. Last time I went in the drugstores to buy toilet paper, and I shouldn't even done that, but I don't buy it. But they used to have a little hidden cabinet, the glass cabinet in the back, where that's for the wealthy people, that's where the drugs cost hundreds and thousands of dollars. So what is that saying to you? It's almost like you can do it, work harder. You got to make more money and you'll live forever. So now you got to go back to school and get another degree and get that PhD and work harder for the Rockefellers. Work harder for the Rothschilds. Cheer the flag in wars more, make more money, put more money in your bank account. And when we release the Garden of Eden, the youth fountain, Gaia, where you can live 16% longer, instead of indefinitely, like telomere science will tell you, you can buy it. It's only going to be $5,000. That's all it's going to be. It's going to be on a shelf near you. Like everything I see is just like driving the slave colony, getting us to jump a little higher. It's like, they just keep holding the tree. They just keep moving the tree up. It's like people like, oh my God, like, is anybody seeing this or is it just me? Am I crazy? Sometimes I gotta do a pulse check. Am I crazy? Somebody let me know. Am I nuts? Am I losing my mind? Am I losing my mind, or did we just not see this a couple years ago with the other mice? Except that was permanent life. That was taking old, making it young. And we saw this with the telomere science, which is literally the human body is designed to live forever. And that's why we make a telomerase enzyme to where we're 120. And so now they're saying, oh, you might be able to live 16% longer at Walgreens if you take this pill. I just feel like I'm being played. I feel like it's like a carrot and it's a horse. We got the blinders. We're just following this damn carrot and then they keep moving and shifting it. Work harder. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm crazy. But I look at this stuff and I'm just like, oh my goodness. Does anybody see through the cracks or just me? Is anybody seeing a code in this matrix? Does anybody see? All right. That's what I see. That's what I see. And I think they've known how to do this stuff for a long time. Somebody talking about the Library of Alexandria, Miss T. I think we're going the same place psychologically, mentally. I think we're about to go the same place. I love the Kindle Fire reference to the burning of the Library and Alexandria. Good stuff. Yes, Miss T. And guess what? If they found the Fountain of Youth, if they found that chalice, if they found any of these ancient technologies like that Thoth pyramid or the Thoth temple that they got under that temple now in Dendra that they're not telling anybody about, they're not even digging it up because they don't want us to know, it was in the Library of Alexandria. All those scrolls going back thousands of years, it was there. How about the chamber under the Sphinx? How about the chamber under? Does anybody think, am I the only nut that thinks that they weren't lying in the old scripture and they said Methuselah lived to be 900? I don't think they're lying. That was the hardest part of the Bible I just couldn't process. But it was in there for a reason. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think the Bible is the word of God. I think God is God and man made a Bible and man wanted to try to be God. And so he convinced everybody that God is the Bible and it ain't the Bible. It's just people making an account of it. That was the hardest part. What was it? Exodus? And this fool begot this fool, and this begot this fool, begot this fool. I couldn't even read it. I read the Bible through like 4 or 5 times because I had a crazy father that loved me to death and just thought he was saving me by giving me what he believed, which is okay. But I don't think that they made this up. On every continent they talked about it, right? Whether it be the Muslims, whether the Quran, whether it be the Bible, the scripture, and all of that comes from those ancient Naga Sanskrit texts that Moses translated. They were living forever. They were living to wise old ages. They're talking about the creatures that live forever that came to this planet. So no, we have indeterminate lifespans. Our lifespan was limited for good reasons because y'all start getting too smart. Y'all like to get on live streams to talk about the truth. Y'all like to build towers of Babylon. Stop worshiping the gods or the men pretending to be the gods. That's the problem. Y'all know how to behave. Y'all get too smart. So you got to die before you're 120. But I feel like we're being played on this again. I feel like we're being played. It makes no sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense to me. But I think you're right. I think the Library of Alexandria explained a lot of that, and that's why they keep it from everybody. And I think they grabbed a bunch of those scriptures and they put them in old ancient texts. You call them scriptures. Once again, it's not religion, people. It's just old things old people wrote down. Things that our ancients felt were important enough to put on paper, scrolls, wood, and stone, because they needed the future generation to know that, damn it, there's something flying in the sky. Damn it, people came here and they lived forever. Damn it, the the kings, the Anunnaki. These people lived for thousands of years and ruled over men in these regions for thousands of years while humans were dying. All right. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Is this making any sense to anybody? Does it make any sense why the Vatican has 2 miles worth of bookshelves that people suspect were stolen from the Library of Alexandria that you are not even allowed to read? Does that bother anybody a bit? What could they actually have under the Vatican that requires you to go there and already know the book that you need? You can only select 3 books. You got to be affiliated with a university. You got to get a pass to go there. You have to be a researcher. You can sit down. They have like what, an hour or something with each book, or you can get 3 books. And if you're there for those were the 3 books you wanted, you need to leave and can't come back for 24 hours to look at the next 3 books you want to look at. Does anyone think that's suspicious? These are books that your ancestors wrote. Your ancestors. These are things that your ancients from every damn continent around this world wanted you to know. And if the founder youth ain't one of them, then I'm lying. I'm lying if I ain't flying. But what else would be that important? What else would be that important that they would feel they have to hide it from the human race? This may be a perfect time for the U.S. military personnel to inform the warmongering, resource thieving, neocon, neoliberal jerks to fudge off. Go on, get them, Brother Ron. We're not playing your sick wealth massing games anymore. Well, I would, you know what, Ron? I wish, you know me, I'm not a revolutionary guy, not in terms of violent revolution. I think violence is always the wrong answer. You know, those brothers could just walk away. They could just walk away. I think a violent conflict is what they want, and they want the military to stand up and, like, I think that would be the best thing for the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, to have like some sort of American revolution and literally destroy America because they're getting sick of Americans yelling and screaming about their Constitution and their Bill of Rights. I think they'd like that. I think it has to be military wide. It has to be a complete stand down, or you have to have somebody high up in the Rothpentagon just to, you know, take them little balls and like swell them up and get some big balls. You need somebody higher up to say, you know what? This is a deep state that's running this. We ain't doing this no more. We ain't sending kids to go die for oil companies. This is all a lie. You would need somebody high up to do it. And I would hope so. I would hope something happens in our lifetime. Human race being what it is, we probably gonna have to wait till it really hurts. Ron, we don't like to look back and say love. We don't like to look back and believe any of those scriptures or anything those God said. You know, the Christians, they hate Christ. The Democrats, they hate democracy. The Republicans, they hate the republic. You know, the liberals, they don't like liberty nowhere. Get it off of them. The conservatives, they don't conserve any damn thing. Like the whole world runs like upside down. I just like, y'all look at the ball. Y'all see the ball? Anybody, they got a ball. Hello, it's a ball. There's an anti-gravity ball flying around. Everybody in the military ain't seen it in the Air Force. World War II, they got balls. Hitler got flying balls. We don't need to be in these aircraft putting around with gas because the ball just chasing. Some people like, oh, that's ball lightning. Yeah, Ball lightning flies precisely at the same speed that the United States aircraft do. They flew with the bombing rage the whole damn way, according to some of the eyewitness reports. And they took pictures of these damn things. Ball lightning. We are just a very unballsy species. And I think we need to grow bigger balls. But I hope so, Ron. I hope so. I hope somebody would stand up and finally say something. I hope there actually would be a real anti-war voice anywhere in U.S. federal government. I don't think so, though. I don't think it's going to happen because the last time somebody did that, his name was JFK, and they murdered that man, threw him in a hole, and Americans didn't give 2 damns. Americans didn't question nothing. They accepted the complete lie. And I think that's made everybody else fall in line. Soldiers need to remember their loyalty of their hearts. Well, they do, Brenda, but the problem is that they literally can be shot for standing up. Although somebody told me, I believe one of my military friends told me that unenlisted soldiers have an oath to the Constitution, but enlisted do not. Something like that. that the enlisted, they actually have to follow the orders. Unlisted, they actually don't have to, but they can be shot if they don't. But their oath is to the people in the Constitution, while the enlisted, their oath isn't. Something different about their oath is the way I hear it. Somebody can try to explain that to me. So the soldiers can stand down, but the rank and file, they're not going to stand down because they'll get shot, right? Violence is always the answer for psychopaths. And so someone put in this psychopathic model to make sure that the troops, the poor ones who know how this world works, will do what they're told. Let me see what else y'all got before we move on. The red-haired Galatians and other fair-skinned tribes were more than likely products of Marines trafficking our girls, just saying. What? See what you talking about, girl? What you talking about? Fair-skinned tribes. Oh, we're products of mariners, not Marines. I can't read on that screen. Mariners trafficking. Yeah, well, if you're talking about the red-headed tribes going way back, the tall ones, I mean, that could have been a Viking thing, right? Red hair, that's kind of where it came from. The Vikings could have came here and did that. But that's what we always did. Like, rape has always been a part of war. Rape was always the spoil of war. If they Vikings came here, that's exactly what they did. They murdered a bunch of people and raped them, stole their women. Why? Because women are still cattle in our societies. I don't care what anybody says. I could care less. Our model is still a patriarchal model where we treat women like crap. You know, the statistic I heard this morning, Miss T, was they said in our country, 52% of women are on antidepressants. Oh my God. You know what? If 10% of the women in your country got to take antidepressants to get up in the morning and go deal with you greedy bastards, you lying, filthy, cruddy, patriarchal bastard of a society, you're a failure. You failed. That's an E. That's an E in red ink. X, 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 all the way down the paper. You failed as a society. You failed as a governing body. If half of the creators, over half of the creators in your nation can't even get out of bed in the morning unless they take a damn pill, you're making drug addicts out of creators. It's the most evil thing. All right, I'm gonna stop with that. Ooh, was there anything else here I wanted to look at? Was there anything else? I think you gotta admit when you fail. Like at a certain point in time, you say, you know what? We failed. Because that's the only way you get better is being honest and saying, you know what? We ain't doing it. We're turning kids into psychopaths. We're making women drug addicts. We're giving kids autism in large amounts. We have various plagues going on. We can't seem to do anything without starting another war and bombing people around the world. We have failed as a country. Maybe we're not actually a country. Like one of the sisters the other day posted something, said when it makes no sense, when it makes absolutely no sense, it's nonsense. Simple. It is just so when it makes no sense, it's literally nonsense. But you gotta admit you failed to stop. All right, so it's Foo Fighters. What else we got? Amazon's Predator. Oh, let me show you. I'll show you on the screen. This fake little world we live in, our fake little existence. Amazon's Predator. I'm seeing if anything's interesting here. If anything is worth our time. I try not to waste people's time, so I try to look at something and say, is this something we need to look at? Amazon's predatory new credit card. To me, it's not really news. You know, you shouldn't have an Amazon account. You shouldn't be buying from Lex Luthor. Like, that's stupid. This idea of giving power, massive amounts of power to a few powerful elites is stupid. Everybody's complaining about government. Everybody's being starved. Everyone's fighting for jobs. The robots are coming. Why in the hell are y'all still buying from Amazon? Like, I don't get it. All right, so I'll leave that there. You figure you out. I don't have an Amazon account. I closed it and I ain't bought anything from them bastards in years. What is that? This is the pipeline one, right? This is about, I can't even go to. Don't worry about it. Let me keep moving down. What is this? Top U.S. trade officials grilled over China's NAFTA. Once again, we should not have any trade deals. We should not be dealing with any other nations till we feed our own. Until we stop making 50% of the women, over 50% of the women, have to take drugs to deal with our society. When we get that under like 1%, okay, then we can start trading. Then we can start judging other nations and telling them how to run things. Speaking of that, there's Venezuela. We can figure out how to let people get up in the morning and appreciate living life. All right, then we can tell some other country what democracy and freedom is. Until then, we know nothing about freedom. All we are is a slave plantation. Venezuela crisis, Guaido's envoys accused of embezzling AIDS funds. Is anybody surprised? You should not be surprised. Don't be surprised. If you're surprised, then something is wrong, because he's crooked and dirty. All governments are. It's just Maduro is just a hell of a lot less crooked than America. That's all. Because America's run by the Rothschild banking system. Pompeo admits CIA lies, cheats, and steals. Did y'all remember that? Y'all remember that? See, Pompeo? He literally told you, I lie, I cheat, and I steal. Now, let me tell you what I ain't lying about, what I ain't cheating on, and what I'm not really about to steal, but I'm so gonna steal, lie, and cheat for it. It's just, you know, it's just funny. They don't even hide it anymore. And Lori, this is the hope. You say you had no hope. This is the hope right here, because they don't even hide it no more. They don't even care. They don't even care to hide it. They understand the American people have absolutely no power in their government. And that's why we might make it up. Oh, this is news right here. I'm gonna look at this one right here. We found some cocaine.
Can you believe the cocaine bust that just took place in Philadelphia? Just one.
Right down the street in Philadelphia. It wasn't my cocaine though. Let y'all know. Right up. Wait, ain't my cocaine. It was not my cocaine. I don't have cocaine. Ain't none of my cocaine. But y'all
we thought the era of the cocaine cowboys was over. I was in that documentary, by the way. Police found $1 billion worth of cocaine, which amounts to 16.5 tons of this white powder.
16
Just for fun. You want me to do the math for you? Actually, Joe Ricci, our producer, did.
16.5 tons of cocaine. $1 billion. Let me ask y'all a question. Outside of the fact that, to me, I don't even care, because cocaine is medicinal, and people need cocaine to get up in the morning, just like women need antidepressants, because your society is so damn depressing because you're starving everybody with artificial scarcity. Do you actually believe, like, let me ask you how your head works. How are you paying attention? Do you actually believe for 1 minute that a street cop, do y'all actually believe 1 minute that a police officer paid less than $80,000 a year found $1 billion worth of cocaine? What, do you actually believe that? Does anybody actually believe? Let me tell you what's happening here. You find $1 billion worth of anything, somebody done told you. I'm gonna ask another way. If you found $1 billion worth of cocaine, what would you do? I know what I'd do. I could be a cop, I could be police, I could be Pompeo. If I found $1 billion worth of somebody else's watches, cocaine, crack, marijuana, marbles, doesn't matter, rubber bands. I found $1 billion worth of rubber bands, and I could just take all of them, I could tell on them, get them all in trouble. You know what I'd do? I'll be like, that's $1 billion. No, that's not how the world works. This does not work out well for me. If I tell on them people, you know how much trouble you used to get in school? You tell on the bully. The teacher come back to class, oh, I'm about to tell on Brandon. Brandon was throwing spitballs, hitting the back of my head and somebody else's head. Teacher, I'm going to tell on Brandon because he throwing spitball. He's spitting spitball. I got spit on the back of my neck. Teacher, I'm going to tell on him. Brandon beat the hell out of you. 3 o'clock come, oh no, you get on your bus, you go sit down. I'm going home. I'm going to go home. As soon as I get home, I'm going to watch He-Man and Transformers and Voltron. Can't wait to get home. I'm make a Hot Pockets, get all excited on the bus, and all of a sudden you look out the window. Why Brandon walking to my bus? Is Brandon getting on my bus? Oh Lord Jesus. Oh no. You start praying then. You start remembering church then, boy, you be real Christian then. Be like, oh Lord Jesus, don't let Brandon get on my bus. He getting on my bus. Then you gonna have to fight. Hey, listen, police don't find $1 billion worth of cocaine is my point. This is how this works. Police ain't stupid. They know how dirty every police department is. They know they got dirty cops everywhere. You got dirty police officers. You got dirty doctors. You got dirty teachers, you got all the politicians just dirty and filthy. They know how this works. Somebody didn't pay the bill. Somebody ain't acting right. Billionaire's kid got caught doing something, and somebody getting kicked out the club. And what this was, it was a smack in the face. They called the police officer, and they said, police officer, Philadelphia, we need you to go pick up $1 billion worth of cocaine off of that damn ship. And the police officer's like, hell no, not me, who this? No, you're a police officer, you need to go pick it up. I ain't going to pick a damn, that's $1 billion. You know, people on the street will shoot me for $50. Hell no, I ain't going to pick up no $1 billion worth of cocaine. You better call, you got the wrong number. 911, ain't nobody responding to that call. Police ain't stupid. You might think they are, they ain't stupid. That's not how this world works. When you see stuff like this, these are like little warnings. These are like little billionaire to billionaire warnings. That's what I'm saying. There's their world and there's our world. So I don't believe none of this. None of
it. Here it is. That is 33,000 pounds of cocaine. 33,000 pounds of cocaine. Can you imagine? That's like a Scarface movie, but, you know, a gazillion times. Here's RT's Trinity Chavez, who traveled to Philadelphia this morning to investigate this story for us.
More than $1 billion worth of cocaine was seized from a ship at this Philadelphia port. Authorities say over 16.5 tons of the drug was found in multiple crates, and 2 people have been arrested. The $1 billion bust happened aboard the MSC Guyana.
2 people been arrested. This is why you don't never drive nobody's ship. Don't ever, just anytime you got something, people hand you a bag, take this bag to the airport, mail this for me. Hell no. You think 2 people got something to do with that $1 billion? Hell no, ain't got nothing to do with it. The people who own that, the people who flew that, the people who control that, the people mid-level management, lower down supervisors and the workers and the CIA probably lower down at the bottom. They ain't gonna pay the price. They ain't gonna pay the price. And somebody already said that. Angela said the CIA, you know what that's about. Again, Angela, please remind them. The only reason you have drugs in the United States of America is because your CIA set up the drug routes. They set them up through, what's that town in Arkansas, Wilhelmina, Wacomina, something like that? When the police officer in Los Angeles came out and told you the reason why we got all these drugs in South Central LA, the reason why gangster rap existed, took peaceful hip hop and peaceful fun rap and turned it into this murderously bloody thing. The reason the women getting raped all over the street in LA, the reason the drive-by shootings are even a thing, the reason the complicity, the collusion was the CIA flew in the drugs and made drug routes in America. And there is no higher treason except for maybe John McCain, George Bush, and every president that I've ever known. High treason. They literally have killed millions, tens of millions of Americans and restarted slavery. Thank you, Mary. Mena, Arkansas, do your research. Do your research. Don't believe none of this crap. That's not how this works. And it could just been the CIA giving up a little bit of $1 billion or something because they want to get somebody else caught or in trouble because they're not going along with that cartel. This cartel is fighting. These people are all dirty and they always have been. Your CIA, they don't work for you. It's not your CIA. They don't even work for the federal government. They don't even work for the Rothschilds federal government that I understand. The CIA, they're a civilian organization. Off doing their thing, making money. Any way they know how, and they've always done it with the drug trade. While drugs are illegal. That's why I kind of don't care about it. All drugs are medicinal. And when you got these people, when you got human beings being raised in a conflict, violent type of nation like America with legislators just writing crazy, insane laws to keep everybody poor and in conflict with each other, you're going to need a whole lot of drugs for people to get up in the morning.
A cargo ship that traveled from Chile to Peru, then through Panama and the Bahamas before docking at the Packer Marine Terminal in Philadelphia. That's when federal, state, and city law enforcement officials boarded the vessel to inspect the cargo, where they seized 16.5 tons of cocaine valued at $1 billion. And officials say there could be more. The U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Pennsylvania.
Hold on, it's cute though. It's cute how they do the old animation thing and make it seem like, oh, there were some security guards and they did their job at the port. Go America. like the security guards, like they went in there and they found $1 billion, but somebody else is scratched. They ain't gonna tell on somebody. That does not happen, people. This is not. They're constantly trying to reinforce with you that this is your world works the way that they say it does. It does not work this way.
Calling it one of the largest drug takedowns in history. He said on Twitter, "This is one of the largest drug seizures in United States history. This amount of cocaine could kill..."
Hold on. This amount of cocaine could kill millions of people. My office is committed to keeping our borders secure and streets safe from deadly narcotics. Yay! Right there, yay! Meanwhile, there was this U.S. attorney. I don't even know who this guy is, but what I do know, U.S. attorney guy, justice guy, there's no justice in this country. And the drugs that kill most people aren't illegal drugs that come over the border. They don't come from natural medicine and plants. They come from your synthetic big pharma companies that you take all the money from. So while big pharma is murdering all these people and drug deals and cartel, it really ain't killing nobody in comparison. It's just the thing to get you cheering, like, yes, get that border. My borders are safe. My president's securing the borders. He's getting rid of the immigrants. Yes. Meanwhile, Trump still hadn't deported as many people as Barack Obama. But that was a border bastard, boy. He didn't play. But, it's a narrative. And people believe these narratives. And, they're gullible people, naive people, but they feel good about it. Like, my streets are safe because we got the drug dealers off the street. But the police are still there, and the CIA and the FBI and Homeland Security and 12 other security agencies monitoring my phone, monitoring my wife's phone, monitoring my kid's phone. They got all of my dirty pics. They got all of my sexting, my texting. They got all of my images. They got everything. And they're keeping me safe by making sure when I get on the airplane, I get an enema, and they shove things in my anus and blow water in there to make sure anything comes out, just in case anything's in my anus that's trying to get me. But it's a narrative. It is a narrative, and it works. You can't hate them. Y'all watching like, oh, he hating on our narrative. No, I'm not hating on the Wizard of Oz. I'm not hating on the Wizard at all. I think your swag is on point. You got 270 million people believe in you. You know what I don't. I don't know what I'm doing. You know what these people are geniuses. Geniuses. They got slavery hot and popping. Throwing kids in prison like you wouldn't believe. Shooting white kids and black kids like hotcakes. Shooting immigrants, throwing them in prison. They got people on slave plantations. The Clintons still got slaves planting their coleus. The hot and popping. People believe it. They're like okay with all of it. All of it. Just, yeah, America the people. I can't even sing a song anymore.
Millions of people. My office is committed to keeping our border secure and streets safe from deadly narcotics. A spokesperson for the CBP told RT authorities continue to process the seized cocaine and continue its inspection aboard the vessel in the port of Philadelphia. Authorities have made 2 arrests and will release a final tally and additional details when this operation concludes. The drug seizure is the latest in a series of large cocaine busts along the East Coast. In March, a bust in Philadelphia, drug dogs sniffed out almost 1,200 pounds of cocaine worth about $38 million. At that time, that was the city's largest seizure of the drug in more than 2 decades. And in February, customs agents seized 3,200 pounds at the port of New York and New Jersey, with a street value estimated at $77 million. That was the largest.
I just feel safer. Do y'all feel safer? I'm so safe. I don't know. I just feel safe. It just, I tell you what, can you make a drug sniffing dog ever to sniff out Vioxx? Like, what are y'all farmers? Can you make some drug sniffing dogs that sniff out Tylenol? Can you make some drug sniffing dogs that sniff out all the opiates that are killing 10,000? How many Americans would get, like, it's almost a genocide at this point. Can you make some drug sniffing dogs that sniff out Viagra and they're like, oh, hell no, not Viagra. You ain't going to the Viagra plant. It's silly. It is so silly, and it's so ridiculous.
Cocaine bust in the port since 1994. Authorities are expected to give an update on Thursday after the search of all the containers on the ship is complete. Reporting from Philadelphia, Trinity Chavez, RT.
So you haven't heard that we're the ones covering?
This is why I don't even trust RT. I don't trust any of them. I don't trust. It's a fantasy world. We literally live in a lie of a matrix of a fantasy world inside of a matrix of another fantasy world inside of a matrix of another fantasy world. Like, it's just how we work. It's how our brains work. Like, think about a parent. What does a parent do? When a child is born, what do? I know what I did. I set up a matrix around my kids. Why? Because I want to be the dad. I want to be the father. I want to make sure they're safe. Psychopaths stay out there. My kids stay in here. This is what I'm willing to do. And I even did that for the doctors. I ain't going to tell you the time I almost had to go to prison for a doctor. I don't play when it comes to my kids. I listen. You hurting them. It was, he listened to what I was telling them. All right. Anyway, they were doing an experimental procedure on my son. And this is the time that I really understood that child protection was not protecting children. It had to do with that, But listen, I'm a free creature, and you need to be free. I will only take but so much. And child protection had tried to go along with the doctors to do an experimental surgery on my son that they don't do on boys, and to record that they think that they never have done on boys. Long story short. What was it? Martin Luther King said that you're not supposed to follow unjust laws, something to that nature. Child protection came in and bullied me to try to get me to put my son under the knife for a procedure. And just when they were about to start, a nurse came and whispered in my ear and said, they've never done this on boys that I know of. They're not supposed to be doing this. A nurse. That's why I love nurses. I love nurses to death. Nurses keep this thing going around. The doctors been probably all sold out. I jumped across that table when my son screamed, and that doctor understood at this point that this man done figured it out. This man done figured out we're experimenting on his child, and if I ain't careful, this man is going to murder me. I can see that this man has passion for his children. I see that he's not serving them up to big drug and big pharma and big experiments in the complex that I work for. I am going to step away from this table. I'm going to release this son. I'm going to put down what I don't know. It was some sort of syringe thing, and I'm going to walk away because this man is going to kill me. And guess what? As peaceful as I am, as loving as I am, he was right. He was not going to make it. There are always limits to what you can take. And he finally got that button. You hurt my kids, you finally going to get that button. But the thing is, I don't know why I'm telling you this. I'm not telling you this. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. Everything is a matrix. We put our kids in matrices to keep them safe, just like our governments put matrices to keep us safe. If we had a government, we don't have none no more. They put us in a matrix to keep them safe. And the Rothschilds put our governments and nations in matrices to keep themselves safe. And it's a power and control thing. You'll go all the way up to the planetary scale. We can go to the aliens and how they're keeping us safe. And the scriptures actually said that God is like leashed the demons, and so we can live and is going to unleash them later. You can just figure out what that means for you. I really don't care what it means for you. What it means for me is there's matrices after matrices after matrices of everybody trying to control their power. And to me, that's not a big G God anyway. That was a little G God, because all the matrices are out of fear. Big G God has no fear. That's what I'm saying. When you look at scriptures, you have to look at and try to discern what is big G God and little God, because big G God made things and made things and made things and made things. And we don't even know what big G God did versus little G. But I think when you start to see fear, when you got to manufacture reality, when you got to lie about some cocaine and lie about wars and lie about the Foo Fighters and little boys, it means you got little balls. You know what I mean? You ain't big balls, I mean you got little balls. It means you're scared. You're scared. Only scared people lie. Only cowards lie. People who have big balls, they ain't scared. Rothpentagons, they got big balls and they're not scared. They don't got that cowardly fear. They'll tell you the truth. They'll tell you the truth. Now, I'm gonna tell you, the criminal that the one that you have to fear. Growing up, I was telling the lady the other day, I grew up on the outskirts of Washington, D.C., the murder capital of the world at the time. And that's another hint, too. Your society's a failure. You are a complete legislated failure. If two of your cities are the murder capital of the world at any time, ever, if they're in the top 50, you're a failure. You shouldn't tell anybody what to do about anything. The only one you had to fear is the one that told you the truth. Those thugs that tell you the truth. Those young drug dealers that they ain't got no parents and they're dealing drugs, getting through high school. Those are the ones to tell you the truth. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah, you come outside, I'm gonna kill you. He's not playing with you. He's gonna kill you. But anytime somebody puts you in a matrix, because they're scared, they're cowards. that's why the Rothpentagon government always lies to their people, because they're scared. The people believe it because they're scared. When you develop yours, how they say it in dog word? Is it dog word or cow word? Where your sack drop. When your sack drops, you'll be honest with what the Foo Fighters are. When your sack drops, then you'll stand up to these killers and psychopaths. You will. All right, let me do comments and I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta get going. Truth is quite simple. If there's lots of loose threads dangling, don't buy it. Exactly, Miss T. If it's nonsense, it's nonsense. If it doesn't make sense, it's nonsense. Don't believe it, don't buy it. It's that simple. It's that whole seek God thing. Seeking God is no more than seeking the truth, right? That's the science thing. That literally, it is a scientific experiment. You are seeking what is true. You have a theory, you have a hypothesis, you have an experiment that you do, you have afterwards results, you got a summary, and that's what seeking God is, and that's what spirituality is. And this is where people, I think, get lost in the whole spirituality versus religion stuff, is you're either seeking the truth or you're not. I'm not seeking the truth of King James. I really don't care what King James knew. I'm seeking the truth of the truth. And I know that the Vatican is hiding stuff because there are certain truths that gives them power. If they keep me in their matrix, if I'm a Catholic in the Catholic Church or whatever, then they can keep me full. But it's just because they're scared. They're scared that I might discover what God is. Think about it that way. All right. The financial district was and is protected airspace. Ooh, I didn't know that, Miss T, but that makes sense. Just like Antarctica. You know what? You know where you always want to look? You know who's really ruling things? How's that saying go, Miss T? The people you can't talk about, those are the people who are really running things. The places you can't go, that's really where the goodies are. The places you can't fly, that's the place you need to fly. You know, I agree with that. When they're all psychos, don't they eat each other? Yes, Brenda, they do. And that's part of my theory. I don't think anybody's in control of this. Like, I'm not a believer in there's a meeting of dark people with hoods in some room making all decisions for the planet and the earth. I don't believe none of that. I think that on their level, on that billionaire, Rothschild, Rockefeller level, I think they're just like us on our level. I think they're being played by their own system, played by the system that their relatives set up, their ancestors. And I think their ancestors and them are being played by even a higher system. You know, so I don't think anybody's in control of this car. This car is speeding out of control. They're fighting each other for control and power. That's why when you see them fighting, do anything you can to keep them fighting, keep fighting. I think they got Trump in line, but initially, I'll be honest with you, initially, I think he was standing outside the game. Like, he wasn't in the in crowd. They obviously did not like him for whatever reason. Now they love him. And I hopefully I'm not the only one who sees that. The neoliberals and neocons love this man. He is not fighting a deep state. They finally sat him down and had that conversation and explained to that man outside of the inner circle how things work on that level. And he's following suit, doing everything Barack Obama and Bush and Clinton and all the rest of them did. Facebook is starting its own currency. Ivan, that's not surprising. That does not surprise me at all. Is it gonna have like Zuckerberg? Is that fake news? You just make that up. They're gonna have Zuckerberg on the money. I know people, and they'll love it. They'll use Facebook money. They'll use anything. When the U.S. currency collapses, people will do anything they have to survive. That's why I tell people, plant seeds, grow food. Plant seeds, grow food. Plant perennials, put in some apple trees, find out what's stable in your climate, feed yourself, feed your family, feed your community. We got to go back to being strong people, because when all of this comes down, they ain't sending their little balls to help you. They ain't sending the Foo Fighters, because they only got certain... They only got them Foo Fighters. They can't put guns on and bombs on them yet, I don't think. And some of them aliens, but that's just me. That's what I believe. Just trying to think like a psycho and going after children makes perfect sense for Zachary. But yeah, I think to understand the psychotic mind, you have to kind of sort of think like kind of Walmart. Brenda, I don't even know what that means. That just sounds funny to me, because Walmart, how you know, they're taking the Walmarts and they're making them our prison camps. Right now, there's a Walmart being schema for you and your family right now. This is where your bunk is going to be after that currency collapse. Same as gifted and talented, more gifted in prison probably than psychos, because they cheat and have no personal honor. I think, Brenda, that the prison system has some of the most intelligent people in the world with the most passion for self that we've ever seen. And why do I think that? Because those were people who were willing to stand up to whatever this system is. Those were people who were probably mostly born on the bottom, and they had the passion enough to go out and fight for themselves or fight for their family. I'm not trying to praise people in the prison system. I'm just trying to say, you know what kind of balls it takes to stand up to state and federal law, unconstitutional state and federal law, to try to feed your family and make a better place for yourself. That takes a lot of balls. That takes a lot of passion and love. It does. And it takes a hell of a lot of creativity. I mean, come on, let's be honest. You got $1 billion worth of cocaine and you gonna take on cartels like that and start your own little gig up? That's why you ask me, I say open the prison, let everybody out. That's what I say. Because the real dangerous criminals are already free. They're all in Washington. They're just walking around. They're walking all over Washington. They drinking coffee right now and bagels. So the real dangerous ones are already out of prison. The people in prison are not the danger. The danger is in your Rothpentagon and in your Roth federal government. Those are the mass killers. There ain't no mass killers in any United States prison. I would be a pharmacist. You would be, Angela. Hopefully you'll be a naturopathist. Those pharmacists, I know a few friends that are pharmacists. I know a lot of pharmacists who left for the naturopathic industry because they realize that synthetic drugs are not what people think they are, and they cause a lot more damage than what anybody's talking about, especially to your DNA through epigenetics. I run the other way. Cocaine, no. Shelly, shoot, I'd have opened that treasure chest like, oh, whistling, doing my thing. I open that treasure chest and I see $1 billion of cocaine. Close. I've been whistling right on my way, Shelly. I'd be gone. You know what? I'd find the tape for where they was filming the treasure chest and me opening it, seeing it. Hell no. I'd delete that tape right there. I was never there. I ain't seen nothing. I ain't got nothing to do with it. It's like if I'm in the field. Let's say you go to the park, you're going for a nice walk. You and the honey bunny. Y'all out there hiking in the woods. Out there chilling, just doing your thing, going through look at the trees, baby, look at the trees. And all of a sudden you walk into a big marijuana field. Hey, what do? Do you go tell a park ranger? Do you go find a park ranger? Park ranger, that's some marijuana, it's probably his. He probably gets money from who it belongs to. When you understand that you live in a corrupt, totally corrupt government from top to bottom. The land is corrupt. There's just all corruption run everything. Everything. From township to local to government, federal, everything. From the planet, aliens, it's all corrupt. All corrupt. You don't tell on nobody. You just walk. I walk into that field like, oh Lord, are those 5 leaves? Oh shoot, baby, we gotta go. Get your bag, wipe your footprints. We gonna get the hell out of here. Oh no. I've been alive in this country for 45 years, y'all. 45 years. And nothing is what they say it is. It's corrupt all around. All around. Everybody knows everybody. The world is smaller than you think. People know each other. Everything is monitored just from your cell phone alone. They know you were in that marijuana field. Had the CIA come and blame it on you. Look, they do treat you like they did Iran. They take a picture of you. Who's it? Patricia. They got you and Rebecca in that field. See, it's Rebecca and Patricia in the field. It's their marijuana. Meanwhile, you were just walking through, going for a hike. No. Not me. Not the kid. No. I want no parts of this. This is why I stand on the outside. I laugh at the system. I do my best to stay out of it. I ain't in it. CIA, y'all watching me. I ain't against y'all. I ain't against y'all. Pompeo, I ain't against you neither. I think y'all got them fooled. I think y'all rolling. Y'all genius. I ain't on no sides of nothing. I'm standing right out here. Until there's enough people standing outside the system with me just looking at it. I ain't against nobody. No Shuri, no Babaruni. These people are cold-blooded killers. They will starve 4-year-olds in Yemen till their belly pops and don't get 2 dams if they give the job. What do you think if they get jobs for it? What the hell do you think they do to me? What the hell you think I'm gonna stand up thinking, hell no, I ain't gonna stand, I'm gonna walk away. Walk away, walk right out the field. You can have your cocaine, y'all have fun. Listen, not me, nope, no sirree. All right, let's go to Mena, Arkansas. Y'all talking about, Bill Clinton, go on, Mary, tell on him, but tell him you ain't against that. I ain't against the Clintons neither, I ain't nope. I am not your enemy. I am an enemy to the system. I'm an enemy to the system. I don't think we should have systems that allow Pompeos to exist. I don't think we should have systems that should allow the Clintons to exist. I don't think we should have systems that allow rape to exist. I don't think we should have systems that allow war to exist. That's where I'm standing. When we want to start talking about fixing problems on this planet at the root level, instead of robbing each other because we want control in that power, I got nothing to do with it. Nope, not me. No. The Democrat, how you gonna vote Democrat? Why would I vote Democrat? They just want the power working for the Federal Reserve too. They just wish it was them murdering more kids and no. They just want to invade Venezuela. No. Those powers should not exist. I am out of the game. I've checked out. No thank you. All right. Custom agent who takes bribes called out sick that day. There are probably 2 job openings in the Philadelphia docks right now. I guarantee you, Susan. Oh my goodness, I ain't even gonna go into what I tell you. Listen, I'm not gonna go and tell you what you live down the street. You know, Jersey, Pennsylvania, boy, birds of a feather flock together. Oh no. It's exactly what they said it is, Susan. They're fighting for freedom and justice. They got the Justice League that keeps the border safe. No, I know these people, and I know some of the people who run in those circles in Philly. No. Them Russians? No. Like, the Russians are colluding. You have no idea how much power the Russians have in your country. And it's not in the politics. They run things, all right? I'm not even gonna go there. Nope, love them. I think y'all did a great job. Get that cocaine out of here. Get it out of here. All right. Let me wrap this up so I can get out of here. Freedom for oppression. That's exactly what it is, Miss T. We are being oppressed. Accept the fact that you are a slave locked in the system. Just the fact that a certain Ohio city was approved to spend up to 50 million of the 150. Is that billion? Granted, I can't even read too many zeros. Granted them annually. This 2 military outfit their city for 45's acceptance speech. Oh, okay. All right. Well, you know what? Hold on. I can't barely read it. Eyes going bad. This is what I'm sacrificing. This is my sacrifice. I sacrifice for the future generation my eyes. These lights are killing me. Ohio City was approved to spend up to 50 million of the 150 granted them annually. This military outfit, their city. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, well, you know, Miss T, that's supposed to happen. That's, you know what, Ohio, because Ohio, where is that? Columbus? What city is that? Ohio got a whole bunch of slaves. Miss T, that's supposed to happen. They're going to send MRAPs and tanks and all the weapons of war to Ohio. Ohio got a bunch of humans in it. And you can't just let humans run free. They're Americans. They got guns and stuff, and they like to act up and talk about democracy and freedom and Constitution, Bill of Rights. You need to make sure that all the police state is rolled out. And that's probably where they'll send us to. What's everybody know their FEMA district? Everybody got their FEMA number? Have your FEMA number on hand when that currency collapses and that truck come to get you. Make sure you get on the right truck. Put your kids on the right truck too, so you can go to your FEMA camp, your local Walmart in Ohio. RT has revealed itself as MSM. Yeah, well, Christine, you can't trust any of them. Can't trust any of them. RT is just designed to lie to Russians, mostly. But RT America has a little bit of design to lie to us. Everything is a matrix. Never trust your physician, Shakespeare. Yeah, Daniel, why would anybody trust a physician? I don't get that. Why? If we know that we can't trust moles, if we can't trust ants, if we can't trust spiders, if we can't trust that, we can't even trust our kids with holiday candy. We can't even trust parents and uncles and aunts around cake at Christmas time. Why in the hell would you trust a physician? That's the craziest thing I never heard in my life. They went to school, and the schools are owned by big pharmaceutical companies. The AMA is run by big pharmaceutical companies. Why would anybody trust a physician? That's the craziest. But but we were given that wisdom. We're talking about wise things handed down. Remember that second opinion thing? Everybody handed down, always get a second opinion, and people stop getting second opinions. That's the craziest thing that anybody would trust a physician. Why in the hell would you do? Don't ask your doctor, don't even trust your doctor. You ask a whole bunch of doctors and you figure it out, then you go ask your naturopath, you go do your research online, then you don't trust that and you figure out, and then you use your own critical thought and make your own decision because you're responsible for your own life. Scary thing is you're responsible for your kids' lives too. Don't trust none of these people. Don't put the most precious things you got, your babies or your life, in the hands of people you don't know. That's the dumbest thing I never heard in my life. Everybody has an angle. Everybody has an agenda. Everything is energy. The doctors are trying to consolidate like everybody else. Peace is cheaper. Yes, Victoria, peace is cheaper, but it is not profitable, right? That's the biggest problem. War makes big time money, and that's why they get people clapping and cheering for it. Let me see, nurse practitioner, yeah. Peace is profitable and profitable for all. It is. And that's when we talk about profit, like when we talk about war is not profitable, it's profitable in things that don't matter. It's profitable in like sex slavery and slaves and stealing resources and minerals and stealing oil so you can ship it here and put in gas stations and tell Americans they're stealing it once you stole it. But when you're talking about like profit in real things, real valuable things to the human race and the future of our evolution and societies, war is the anti-evolution. War is the dumbest thing ever. War is it's got to come to an end. It's got to come to an end. They all have undescended. Whoa, hey, we're going back on the testicle. Undescended testicle. I don't even know what that is, Rebecca. Is that the thing when they drop? That's what we were talking about back then. All right, medical term. Oh, little goodness, yo, whoa. All right, I was kind of joking with the title, y'all. We don't have to go there. I was just saying. I was saying balls in terms of Foo Fighters. I don't know where y'all taking. I was saying they got balls, y'all. Focus on the fact that they got free energy balls flying around. They got it from Hitler, and we don't need to go kill anybody for oil. Trump's ego is too big. He likes to act like a strong man, when in reality is he just wants to please the psychopaths. Well, that's true, Ivana, and he is one. He was raised a billionaire, and people forgot that. At election time, they hated Clinton so much they somehow made him into some kind of a hero, and it's like, nope, that's not the case. He was raised as a very wealthy, elitist, psychopathic nut job. That's what he was raised as, and he is at home in the federal government. Now they've accepted him and taken him into their flock. The Democrats love him. I tried to tell you, the DNC love the guy, the Republicans love the guy, and it's now obvious he's doing everything that they want him to do. And that's just how it is. He loves the ego, but the one thing I give him, Ivana, he's a showman. He's a showman. He'll do anything for a clap. That's that psychopath. Remember, every psychopath has their thing. Some of them is money. Some of them is murder. Some of them is rape and destruction and war and other things. He is a nut job, and I think his thing is to be a showman and clap. He really needs the approval of people. It's just that child thing. It's when you're a kid, you just need, maybe because his mom wasn't around or something, but he needs that approval, and he thrives on that. And I still kind of think that he's crazy enough to pull a JFK. I think if he thought that the majority of Americans would clap for him to actually fight the deep state, he might do something stupid, but it'll get him killed. They'd kill him in a minute, just like they did JFK. I give him that. He's crazy. He's crazy. I give him that. But we don't know how to take the crazy energy. We need to know how to use, like everybody's got a narcissistic and sociopathic friend, and everybody knows how to use them. You know how to get your sociopathic friend to buy a new car. You know how to do it. All you got to do is buy a car slightly faster than his. Buy a car, like if they got the BMW, Benz, whatever, 3000, you just buy the 3001. That's all you got to do. He'll be at the dealership next week. You can play people into doing the right thing. But we suck at playing our government. We let them play us all the time. We just let them play us. Oh, they still out there trying to impeach them. They still like, that's why I don't really say anything on it anymore. When people start talking impeachment, I'm just like, yeah, go ahead. That might help. Yep. Yeah. The Rothschilds and Rockefellers scared of Trump. Yep, they sure are. And I think if you impeach them, that'll fix central banking. That'll help. Yep. I think y'all should do. I'm out the game, y'all. I'm out the game. I'm just standing out watching. You might do a show on Aleister Crowley and how his books are studied by our leaders. I'll think about that, Anthony. I got to do my own research, though. I like to talk about things I know. I don't know a whole lot about it. FEMA camp travel provided by Amtrak. Yep, Victoria, it absolutely will. Well, you know, they might have drone travel by then. We might have some drones pull up to our door. Citizen, get in the car. There might be Marty the robot down the street at Giant. Y'all been to that Giant? Y'all seen Marty yet? Come up there. Might be. All right, let me see. We're gonna wrap this up. So where are the men to handle it? Well, Brenda, men don't exist anymore. They went extinct, didn't they? They don't exist anymore. They're gone. Shadow government is control. It is. And every government shadow, right? Like the effective governing bodies, Victoria, they're the quiet ones. They're the shadow ones. Like the real billionaires that got the power, and it's not the Elon Musks, and I don't think it's the Jeff Bezos, like the real powerful families. I don't even think it's the Rothschilds and Rockefellers. I think the real powerful ones are the ones that you never know about. And they'll never let themselves be known. Like growing up, the wealthiest families in my area, they used to drive them Toyota Accords. You never know. They live in mansions and castles, but you just see them on the street like a regular, very smart psychopath, financial psychopaths. They'll never let you, their name will never be in the press. It's always some sort of a shadow government, running some sort of matrix, controlling people. Let me see, outsiders are us. Yes, Rebecca, the only struggle is against the system. Everything else to me is a fuggle. That's the only struggle. It's against the system. It's not against the players and the cogs and the phony stuff that they put on television. It's always on the system. And the television very rarely ever talks about the Federal Reserve and central bank. And that's where I'll focus. And when they start talking about we need to end the Fed, when ABC, CNN, and all the rest of them start saying we need to end the Fed, that's what I'm saying. It's not the Fed, y'all. It's the Fed. The Fed ain't got no more control. They got something else. We have to be smart. Trump is an enigma. You can watch him in YouTube's White House channel almost constantly, and I think people should look at him more. Well, I know he's an enigma, Patricia, but I think Obama was too. Like, there's always something that's a little different. But at the end of the day, as different as they are, I think the people who control all of this, they make sure that when an American president gets in, they can control it. They make sure they have these people cross the T's and dot the I's. These are some of the most powerful psychopaths in the world that don't take no for an answer. So I think they do their research, but he is a little bit of an enigma. I think he's a little crazy, a little loopy, and I think his father did a good job on him. And they have a little trouble with the things that come out of his mouth, and that's why when he goes to Russia and talks about the deep state, comes home, he's like, ain't no deep state. He go to Russia, it's the deep state. I know your deep state works well. My deep state does not work well. And he comes home, he's like, nope, that Russia's deep state is bad. Our deep state is good. I remember that. That was pretty funny. Rothschilds are not the only ones. No, they're not, Anthony. I think they're the fall guys. And I appreciate your research on the Rothschilds, brother. I appreciate that. They're not the only ones, and I think they're the fall guys. You always have a front person. You always, it's like how not say when they bug your house, when your NSA that loves you so much bugs your house. They always put a bug for you to find, then they put that bug for you not to find, and they put the bug for you not to find, then they put the bug for you not to find. There's always layers upon layers upon layers, and I think there's always a fall guy. There's always a patsy, and they always put him in the front, I talk about the Rothschilds because that's just the level of what I understand. I know that the layers go probably significantly deeper. We have no idea what's in control of any of this. Out there, Jeannie's off to wrestle with some ivy. Okay, yeah, I got some ivy I'm gonna pull up to, Jeannie. I ain't wrestling with it, not today. It's raining again. Still working on the ark. Been raining for like 6 days now. Nope, but the climate's same. Climate's same. Climate, not unsame, climate same. Ain't nothing different. You ask a gardener. Just ask a gardener. Ask wildlife if the climates are shifting. They'll answer that question for you. If you don't go outside. 2 Americans don't go outside. Iran, Syria, Venezuela, North Korea, Cuba, plus formerly Iraq and Libya, not a member of the Bank of International Settlements. Ooh. And that might be it, Anthony. That just might be it. But everybody right there is, and that, most of those in the troika of tyranny. The troika of tyranny is that they're tyrannical because they actually want to print their own money. All I know is comply or be killed. That's why it's complicated. It's so complicated. Yeah, that's why I appreciate you, Patricia, because you know the depths of it. Like, you get it. Like, we'll never really know. All we know is that it's complicated and the truth is kept from us. And this is why, for me, I don't need a target. Like, I don't need to point to something and say, that's the problem. All I need to know is the system needs me to be complicit. It needs it needs to manufacture my consent. I don't give it consent. I don't give it consent in any way. I mean, I have to live outside of just living. Short of that, it doesn't have my consent at all. You know, question everything. And that's all we can do. All right, I had to get going. Repression spent 1/6 of their Fed disaster cash on immobilize the citizens. Goofy. Oh yeah, Miss T, that's not goofy. That's not goofy. That should be terrifyingly funny. They spent 1/6 of the Fed's disaster cash on stuff to immobilize the citizens because they're there to protect us. Is that some of them, Miss T? Is that some of them hollow points and tanks and MRAPs and, you know, shackles and what they catch on that train? Them body bags and all of that stuff. Is that what that is? But they're there for us. Let's keep the struggle. Let's keep fighting the other people. Let's keep fighting our neighbors. Meanwhile, they're arming to the T to subdue the American people. If you don't know what 5G is and what Japan used it for to control Boer populations, then you'll have no idea that 5G is to make sure your children go exactly where they're supposed to and do exactly what they're told, or they get zapped like a pig. A government that's looking to treat you like a Boer is not a government for you. You are a slave and they are the master. You are being farmed and you're the livestock. Empirically, look at the evidence. All right, I had to go. Y'all have a great day. It's Gerard. Love y'all to death. Focus on the food fighters and try to grow a pair because apparently the people in control have none. I'm out. Bye-bye.